few minutes later, you guys are all gathered on the ship. Everyone's up. The captain says, "Men, I have something that I need to inform you, something very serious. We have discovered the true source of the pox. One among us, believe it or not, has been at least indirectly the cause of the sickness. While they were out on their excursion, as you know, as you probably have heard, Archer, as well as Vicious Vic, were inflicted. One of our cattle was also inflicted while they were away."
I didn't know animals could be.
It wasn't one of the PCs. It was one of the cows.
I did not even know that was possible.
Apparently, it was.
Thank goodness.
Little did we know that cattle was actually the most intelligent cattle in the world that knew the secrets of the ancient universe.
Well, don't expect any milk with your cereal for the next couple of days. So.
Not Bessie!
Not Bessie! Oh, I love the cow!
Oh, my favorite cow!
This evil no.
She says, "Now I know what a lot of you..."
Clem stick to the animals, so maybe that was his favorite cow.
Yes. She says, "Now I know what a lot of you are thinking. And I've been thinking about that as well. These people are asking us for one more favor. To take them back to Kirkwall to finish what they started. I told the scholar, I told the guardsman, and I told Lealden that we would at least be able to take them with us to Kirkwall. But I wanted to leave it up to all of you as to whether or not we would also allow Delwin to continue on the journey with us on the ship. I am not going to force it. I want you all to decide, because it should not be completely me. I have asked you these last couple of months to set aside your own well-being and your lives for this mission, and I cannot keep continuing to do that. I want you to decide, not me." She asks, as a show of hands, how many people wish for Delwin to leave the ship? There's a few people who are looking around, and there's a couple of hands that shot upwards. A few other people are hesitant, and a lot of people seem to be undecided. Vicious Vic seems to be torn. Archer, shyly, he looks ashamed, but he shyly raises his hand up. Nathan raises his hand up. Jody seems undecided. Plim looks undecided. She looks around, and then she asks, how many people wish for Delwin to stay at least up to Kirkwall? Silence at first.
Are we allowed to raise our hands?
I think if you want to. I don't think she told you can't. If you want to, you can. I don't think she's going to say no. You raise your hand, Maximilian, and... No, Maximilian Grinnell, are you... Maximilian's raising his hand.
Yeah. Delwin raises his hand.
Delwin's probably raising his hand. Actually, I don't know. Knowing what Delwin has done so far, I don't think either Delwin's going to not vote at all. I feel like Delwin's not going to vote at all. I don't think he would try to sway in one direction or another. So.
Oh, he would have kicked himself right off that ship.
Huh.
Plim will raise his hand. Jody will raise her hand. Vic will raise his hand. The crew raises their hand. The rest of the crew start to follow. The captain sighs. It looks like there's a slight majority. Very well. Delwin, she says.
What did Cogs do, out of curiosity?
Cogs I think Cogs would vote for Delwin to stay. She says,
Okay.
Delwin, you will have to understand that we will have to take special precautions. You will be kept on the... You will be kept isolated in the room closest to the front of the ship. Everyone else is supposed to stay away from that side, especially those of you who voted against Delwin remaining. I'm not sure if that will matter, but hopefully if anything were to happen, people in close proximity of that area, people who are not in close proximity of that area will not be inflicted if such a thing were to occur. I think Delwin, out of character, Delwin would accept those precautions as long as it meant that he can stay on the ship. Delwin, know that you're not a prisoner, but you have to understand the ship is divided by this, and granted that the majority is slightly in your favor, I cannot force the rest of the ship to be anywhere near you during this journey. And I'm sure Delwin will understand. Okay. So, the ship takes off. Delwin will be kept, not locked, but essentially kept on one side of the ship. Gwenaëlle, if there's anything that you want to do on the ship during the few days' journey that it takes to get to Kirkwall, you can go ahead and do it.
I would talk to the captain about limited visitations from the main crew to that one if they want to risk it, and see what she says about that.
The captain says if it's up to them. If they wish to, they may.
I'm probably going to talk to both Gwenaëlle and Lee in private. I'm going to invite you guys to my room.
Your room or Jody's room?
Yeah.
My room.
It's probably...
Okay, Logan's room.
Yeah, it's Lealden's room now.
Everybody.
Go ahead.
Welcome. Please, take a seat. I'm fully armored. No, I'm not fully armored. I still have my sword,
Okay.
but otherwise I have my guardsman uniform.
Okay.
There's one more thing I'd like to discuss with you before we land. It's about Delwin. Delwin's actions killed my parents. Also, I believe he has affected you as well, Gwenaëlle.
Out of character, I don't know if it matters.
Do I know this?
Out of character, I don't know if it matters to you, David, but you don't necessarily know that Delwin had anything to do with your parents. You know the demon does. That doesn't necessarily mean that the demon was attached to Delwin at the time. But if you think Maximilian would make that assumption, it's up to you.
Yeah.
I was actually gonna. It's like if that wasn't something that I was actually have my character point that out. But yeah.
I mean, I think Gwenaëlle would believe that the demon wasn't necessarily associated with Delwin at that time. So, go ahead.
Yes, my mentor and currently the spirit that I work, the spirit of hope that I work with, was taken by the pox. But at the timing of when these things would have happened, I'm pretty sure Delwin was not in common contact with this steel thing. The demon was probably still gathering power, theoretically.
That's interesting. I had not thought of that. Still, it changes little. Delwin used blood magic to conjure up a demon. We've had this talk before, and I have accepted his actions for the greater good. But after this is done, I cannot... Justice demands retribution. After this is done, I cannot guarantee his safety. Not from me.
But when we finish this, if we ever meet once this is done, wouldn't it be as if he had never done those in the first place in this time?
He'll still be an apostate, and it is my duty as a guardsman to make sure he pays the price.
The duty of a guardsman is not to take an apostate, it is to report them so the Templars can handle them. If you were to
After
take
all
action
I've
that would
seen,
Hmm?
that would be... I think he's more than guilty. I think we all can agree with that. You can't... Don't use your words on me, Elysian. My will is too strong.
Wouldn't you at least say, wouldn't you, a warrior of justice, at least admit that what she's doing, what she's helping us do, may act as some form of redemption for him?
Very much so. Until we come back to our time. I have allowed him to live this long. In agony, I might say. I might add.
We do not know what his decisions are after he returns to his time. What if he decides to hang up blood magic after knowing what the cost is?
Maybe that is something we should ask him when we get to that point. If I don't like the answer, Delwin will die. And I don't think we can all agree that you three combined still don't have the power to stop me.
What?
Hang on, before we start jumping ahead of ourselves now here. I got nematodes. I got laser beams.
Just say yes. Just say yes.
Just okay, for the dramatic effect, I'll nod silently.
I will rather not harm
You
you.
have been swaying governments, yes, so I would not be able to legally do anything. It's true.
I just wanted you to know where I stand. I respect you both very much.
He's gone, and now he's back. I respect you both very much. Nope.
Nope. We'll see when we get there then.
Yes.
That is all. We better get some sleep. I think we have quite the adventure ahead of us.
Okay.
Oh, this is a good... I have to go visit.
Is Maximilian going to pay Delwin a visit?
You go visit. You go visit.
Okay. We'll see how this goes. Go right ahead, Maximilian. I'll just stand back here with my popcorn and drink.
Fully armed and armored.
Of course.
Go ahead.
I knock on the door.
Yeah.
It's Maximilian. Oh,
It's Ray.
It's Ray.
it's Ray!
Yay!
Ray's
Knocks on
open.
the door. The crowd. The in-studio audience applauses.
I do not have full armor, but I do have my murder knife.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God. I need the
Guys.
sound effect. That sound that plays when you you shank someone.
Oh, God.
Alright, anyway. It's Maximilian. We need to talk.
The door just opens.
It's like, Delwin has been expecting you.
The chair just swivels around. He got a cat. Nobody knows where it came from.
What's going on? Anyway, Max walks in and he keeps his back to Delwin as he starts to speak. So, Delwin, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you regret anything? He turns around and folds his arms over his chest. Do you regret using blood magic, summoning a demon, getting all that power? would you have done the same thing again?
The only decisions that I completely regret are the selfish ones. That being said, I don't regret calling upon Justeel to save an innocent child, if that's what you're asking.
I see. Know that you tread on very thin ice at the moment. I'm holding back. By law and justice, you should be dead already, but we need you. And you've been a good member of this crew, and you helped us more than once. But once this is over, I don't know how I will react. Do you understand me?
Oh, loud and clear.
I take a few steps forward so I get real close. And I think we both know who would win in a fight between the two of us.
She just kind of raises an eyebrow at him like, okay.
Yes. Your indifference can only save you for so long. But for now, I take a step back. We need you, and I'd like to thank you for all the help you've given us.
Oh god, don't thank me. That's just weird.
We'll see. That is all. Enjoy your new quarters.
Yeah, it's real pleasant.
I walk out.
Well, that could have gone a lot worse. Whew. I was worried there for a minute. I thought a knife was going to come out of nowhere. He's just muttering to himself.
Later that evening, there is another knock on the door. And the voice says, "It's me," and it's your sister, Sanaya.
Come in.
You open the door, and she is holding a tray. There are some pieces of food on the tray, as well as a mug filled with piping hot liquid of some sort. As soon as the smell from the liquid invades your nostrils, you recognize it as cinnamon tea, which is something that your mom used to make for you when you were little, for you and your sister when you were little. She made it especially when you guys weren't feeling very well, either because you were sick or because you were sad.
And here I thought I was being contained.
She says, "I don't have much time to live anyway, brother. I figured I might as well be the one to bring over your dinner." She starts setting things down on the table of your room, and she pulls out the tea. All these years, I haven't been able to perfect the recipe quite like Mother's, but I've tried my best. You still like milk with your tea?
Of course.
There's just a tiny bit left, what with, them losing the cow and everything. I was able to sneak some away from the elf person? Elf cook?
Ah, Archer, yeah.
She puts in a little bit of the milk in, and then she hands you the mug. Well, be completely honest, how is it?
Kind of smells it, takes it in a bit before drinking it. Huh. It's not perfected, but you've taken something and made it your own, and I think it tastes better because of that.
I haven't quite figured out the cinnamon to cloves ratio. It's funny how, here we're making our way to the end of a journey one way or another for the both of us, and I'm talking about culinary skills.
Yeah, well, sometimes it's better talking about pleasant things.
I kind of am glad that the crew decided to vote the way that they did. If they were to leave you off the ship, I was probably going to tag along with you as well. figured
Why would you go
maybe...
and do something like that?
What'd she do on a pirate ship?
No, she said stay with Delwin. If Delwin is kicked off, she would stay with Delwin, is what Sanaya said. What was the question again, Delwin? What did you ask your sister?
Why would you go and do something like that?
Keep you out of trouble, of course.
Well, I can't argue with that reason.
As an ex-Templar, technically, I'm supposed to still be keeping an eye on you.
Ex-Templar. Ex keep an eye on me.
You know that they, I was talking with some of the crew, and you know that they were able to find Liam out in the wilderness. They said that they're going to be burying him and the other crew, Dagnar, once they reach Kirkwall.
Can't imagine they'll want me there.
Well, if that's the case, I suppose I can be there for the both of us. I mean, I did work with him for quite some time, side by side, as aggravating as that was. He was definitely a very stubborn Templar. Most gingers are.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Do you want to hear something? A secret? As much as I hated that kid, Liam, sorta had a small crush on him.
Huh. You don't say.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy, right? What's so funny? Your sister asks
Oh my
you.
god, I can't believe that runs in the family.
No. Brother, you? No. Well, I have to say, I might have suspected it a few times, but... So, tell me, are you seeing someone now?
Well, that's a question that doesn't have a definitive answer, especially now.
Why am I not surprised?
Because nothing's ever simple with him.
Well, don't just stand there, dish, she says, unless you want to talk about your big giant quest and adventure. I figured you'd appreciate talking about normal things for once.
Well, there's a mage.
Okay.
A very Orlesian mage.
Does this mage have a name?
Gwenail.
Oh. That other ginger. Makes sense.
That one.
He seems nice. Rather charming. I can see that.
Though I can't imagine how he feels about me right now. Probably a lot to take in.
Meanwhile, plucking petals, I hate him. I love him. I hate him. I love him. Ah!
Well, I'm not gonna promise one thing or another, but sometimes sometimes it just takes time.
Well then, I should have no problem after all. We're gonna be the masters of time pretty soon.
I like that title.
Masters of Time. Have you seen Mother yourself recently?
Yeah.
So you know.
Mm-hmm. I saw her when I first got to Kirkwall.
I blamed you for a very long time, you know.
I don't doubt it.
Was so ticked at you. For a moment I thought Liam was right, too. It wasn't what he did to Father, of course. I would like to believe that Mother has forgiven you a long time ago as well.
Yeah, I remember her saying something like that when I saw her.
Well, maybe the next time we see her in Kirkwall, we can both ask her the secret to her infamous cinnamon tea.
Assuming she'll tell. When she does tell, she never says the same ratio twice.
That's true. Can Tranquil be that way? Crafty? Do Tranquil even care about those kind of things?
She's either crafty or forgetful now. I don't know which.
She starts laughing. And for the rest of the evening, you two have a very, very pleasant brother-sister catching up conversation. Is Gwenaël going to visit Delwin at any point?
Oh yes.
Okay. Alright, let me get comfortable again.
This is less a containment and more a 5-star resort. I get
What?
tea. I don't have to look at people glaring at me. Visitors.
Yeah, you probably lucked out in this deal.
Okay, so what do I roll to for drinking? Like he wouldn't be drinking heavily, but he's definitely drinking.
There is a drinking skill.
Constitution.
Under Constitution. Oh, my favorite skill, ability. Okay, no. I am tipsy when I go in there.
Okay.
Well, tipsy is for that. So. Okay, enough drinking. I need to go talk. I'll take this with me.
Okay, so you go.
Straighten up waistcoat.
He's just standing outside the door.
And let's see here. You know, I can the secret now of his current state is that he's like going through a bunch of things of why he should and what he shouldn't do outside the door. So he's talking aloud to himself. Like, oh, I know I have to confront this. It's just so much trouble. Oh, so much is happening right now. I can't go in. No. Yes. No, I have to. No.
Oh, he closes his book and walks over to the door.
Yes, I think I'll leave right now.
Open.
Ah. Zut. I mean, bonjour. Oh, bon nuit.
Hi.
How is captivity treating you? Oh God. Oh man.
It's more like private accommodations, but not terrible.
Fantastic. That's could be a lot worse, right?
Oh yeah. A lot worse.
May I come in?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Sit down. Bit of an awkward silence, then go on, I imagine, or something like that, unless you say something.
You okay? You're looking incredibly rattled, which is very unlike you.
I'm glad you think that, because I feel like I'm being rattled all over the place since we went on this journey.
Yeah.
Righto. Is this a lot has happened a lot has been seen in just 3 days.
Yeah.
A lot of it's led me to doing a lot of reconsidering and questioning. A lot of questioning. And it's as though I don't do enough of that already.
Yeah. Figured as much. And frankly, I don't really blame you for going back to that question everything, second guess all your decisions, lifestyle that you once told me you lived constantly. I mean, the one time you go out on a limb and take a chance and just do something rather than overthinking it, it ends up turning out, well.
Yes. I try to do what I think for what I saw as the end goal, to try to do better for in a broad scope. But I feel like every time I try to do this, play the pragmatist for something more, something bigger and good, I've inadvertently hurt more people. I am very confused right now. First, before I go on, I want to say, and I hope you do know this, I don't blame you. At the same time, I am so angry. So incredibly angry. And part of it is that I don't think I can be entirely angry at you or any one person but myself.
You're angry that the answer is not clear.
Yes.
It's easy when you have one single person to blame. It's even easier when that person's not yourself.
I've been pretty quick to blame myself and the past. I blame myself for a lot of the bad things that happened because ultimately I have the chance to stand up and do something else or have done the right decision. And even especially now, I feel like I take too many paths of grey. And ultimately, it feel like it has done nothing good.
Makes sense. Though, I think now's the only time you don't really have to blame yourself.
What?
I mean,
Who?
yeah, it sounds crazy, I know. Even though everything's happened the way that it's happened, you've done the best of your ability to fix things. I can't say that you need to be blamed for anything. If anything, you've taken a bad situation and done what you can to make it better.
But
Yeah, okay,
I-
you can't fix it, but
I
some
just
things you
feel
can't
like
fix. Some things one person can't fix, two people can't fix. Some things an army can't fix.
I know. It's just I feel like with my single-mindedness,
You should have an answer.
yes. I just feel like I allow myself to set a point of what if I figure something out, I work towards that, and usually try to take into consideration the best for many, even if that means sacrificing what is important to me. I'd rather do what I see is generally unimportant to get to my goal. And I feel like this has caused issues. If and I don't know would have been better, maybe if I would have been as resolute or stalwart as Maximilian. A lot of these issues could have been avoided. if I could have not been so selfish and let my own feelings not get in the way. What I thought was the best. I don't know.
Oh, come on. Even the guardsman has been morally gray recently. If he wasn't, I'd be dead by now. Gray's looking to be my favorite color.
How do you live that way? How do you. I mean, I see greys all the time, but how do you live in the gray?
Well, when you realize that the white is out of your reach, and the black is, well, it's black and dark and kind of terrible, then you pick the area that you're stuck with. I'm long, when you're born, and I like to imagine it like this, when you're born in the white area. And then the world around you shapes you and influences you, and you may end up staying there, and you may end up going into the black, and you may end up sitting somewhere in the void between. And I think, even though the circle is kind of a terrible place of imprisonment and things like that, you ended up, living a good portion of your life with a mentor who lived her life in a brilliant, shining area of white, and maybe that's where you're meant to be.
And try to make the best. I keep coming back to questioning my motivation for things. Do you feel... Let me ask you something, person, about that grey area again. Do you ever feel like you could fall to that dark area?
Not willingly.
How
I
do you
said,
mean?
it's dark, it's scary, it's a place I don't want to be in, so I think I'd like to keep above it. And I'd do what I can to keep above it.
Why?
Something too unknown about it. I mean, if you've lived there and been there, and you know what to expect, but it sits there being the shadows, and you never really know the kind of person you'll be until you're there.
I know what kind of person I'd be.
Frankly, and maybe don't tell everybody this, but I'm somewhat petrified of the person I'd be if I was there.
I understand that. My father blamed me for a lot of the issues that went down. I began to believe that. And so often I can see the paths that I could take, and if I went down them, what I could do and what wrong I can do. And the thought that scares me isn't that is what I would do, is that given the wrong opportunity, I could take that path. I might take that path. And I see like everything that's leading that closer right now. Am I doing the right thing, or am I just walking one step closer to going down the wrong path?
Motives, goals, desires. Those are the things you look at. You don't worry about where you're going and what you're doing. You look at why you're going that way and why you're doing that. Intent is what drives us into those places.
Do you have a code or values or something you believe in? Something that helps motivate you, what is your internal values? I mean, what are they? I don't know. I don't even know how to ask this question.
Well, it's a difficult question for me to answer. It's not something I ever thought about. It's not something that I really... Like, I didn't really desire anything in life other than to live. And live in not in the terms of life or death, but in the terms of experiences. But I don't know. I think this experience, maybe a normal person would say they could have lived without this. I think, and this is probably incredibly vain, but I think I've managed to grow a little bit. You know, there are other things I value.
I think we'd be failing at living if we don't grow.
Yeah. Look, I imagine you probably don't think very highly of me, or what I do, or what I stand for, or any of that stuff. But I don't know, I like you, and that I'm not saying that to get you to do anything or say anything. I'm saying that, and I'm saying I would never change the person you are despite it.
Thank you.
You know,
And
I will sit here in my muddy gray world as long as I can keep observing you in that white glow that you live in. And I just said that, holy crap.
he went from sad. That's smiling like this, like. I have never seen myself in that white glow, but it makes me feel very happy that you see me that way. So
I'm not the only person who does. I mean, Eveline chose you for a reason. She must see it too.
And at the beginning of what you said there, yeah, I don't have a problem with what you do, and that's part of the things that had scared me before. Because I'm not looking at this at what should be wrong.
Intent, right?
Yes. Or even then, ultimately, I always kept a view. Blood magic is dangerous and would be, honestly, perhaps a fool's game to play with. Not necessarily inherently dangerous because it's like a weapon. A weapon that could corrupt. But only from a pure logical stance did I have any reason to dislike it, to not have any particular affinity to care about blood magic. I end up trusting in what I feel or think from other people, and I guess that's the reason I let this go. And I feel like if I would have a code or some form of internal value would help guide me instead of just moving through this, I feel like I'd be more worthy of standing in this light. I'm not inherently righteous. I'm not good at walking the grey line. I feel pretty aimless. I do the best that I can.
White does not always equal righteous. Pretty sure there are a handful of Templars out there who walk that gray line, who would consider themselves righteous. I think, yes, you know things because they're what's drilled into your head, and that's all well and good. But you learn what's good and bad to you. I think what you think is more important than what some musty thousands years old books and scriptures tell you. It's a learning experience. I think we've all learned a lot on this trip.
In the end, like I say, I guess it's that my ultimate path was to have faith in my companions and work with them to achieve the goals that I set in my head. And I always walked with them and never took the chance to stand up. And I'm afraid I might regret that. But I guess ultimately that helps me know in the end is if everyone else has regrets.
Everybody does.
Out of character. Echo coming. Do you have any regrets?
Deja vu. You know, the first day I got shoved into this room, I got asked the same question. And I can only give the same answer because in 2 days I haven't changed my mind. I regret the things, and only the things that were selfish. I don't regret any of the decisions I made that were not. I don't regret everything that happened with Connor. But there are many times I regret saving my own skin.
Regret the mistakes, not the decision.
Yeah. But it's life, we can't predict the outcome. You live with the decision, and, well, if you live in regret, is it really living? Maybe, but then you're living in the past, and, well, I think we're all sick of time travel.
I've never been one of the past. The past affects everyone. And when I look back at it, I just simply see what I need to learn from it. It doesn't draw back on it. And sometimes it haunts me a little bit more than I'd like. But I've never let it rule me. It's the future that I focus on and also scares me the most.
Maybe that's your problem. Maybe you need to focus on the present.
Focus on the present.
You get caught in the mistakes of the past or you live in fear of the future. Why not just live in the now? We're going to Kirkwall. That's what's happening. Nothing more, nothing less.
We'll get the ritual done and see where things go from there. Actually, that's something that I've been wondering about a lot lately. What after all of this? I mean, there's so many possibilities this can turn out. And with our revelation of your, now I'm guessing, unwanted demonic companion.
Well, maybe I'd like to exchange the current model for a different one, but
Can you even do that, I wonder?
well, maybe. I don't know. That's the future, and I'm not going to think about it.
Okay. Trying to live in the current, yes.
Yeah. And live in the light. Don't live on the sun. Because trying to be in the center of the light and be where it's completely white is dangerous in and of itself.
Shoot, what's her name? What's the name of that character that's the child of the Maker in this? Can't think of her name.
Andraste?
Andraste.
Andraste. Yes, that's true. I should probably try to stop having an Andraste syndrome.
You'll only
Might
get
do
burned.
you some good.
Is that... Anyways, did you have anything you want to say to me? I came here partly that I felt like if there was anything you felt that you needed to discuss after everything that's happened.
Just an apology for dragging you into this. You were the first person I told about any of this, and, you know, a lot happened, and that was an unnecessary burden to put on you, who hadn't left the circle before all this nonsense. So, you know, if you feel any different than you did the first time we kissed, that's okay. It's upsetting, but okay. Understandable.
I gladly took that burden. And I trust that whatever the end result of this is, you will make a right decision. And I'm going to stand with you when you do.
Damn it.
Okay.
Oh, that's relieving.
And but yeah, Renelle leans in for like a soft kiss.
Yeah.
Oh.
Happy endings.
Yay. Okay.
As I leave out the door. When we get to the future, we'll sort things out then, right?
Right.
Bonne nuit.
Lealden.
Whether we've had quite the adventure ahead of us for the last 5 months.
Lealden, when you guys are moving, when Kirkwall is in sight and you guys are about to land, the golem Vic will inform you. Captain says she wants to see you in her office.
Alright. We'll see it. So head out over to the private office.
You go over into the office. The captain is there. She again has a glass in her hand and a bottle. Keep in mind though, the captain is very good about not being tipsy. Like
Right.
she doesn't take it overboard. She just needs something to calm her nerves a little bit. So it's not like that.
She's not. She's not like. She's not. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
she's still remaining as professional, very professional. You come into her room and when you enter, she says, "You know, when I first met you, I thought I didn't need you," she said. "I was able to survive
I
without my
remember.
parents. Would have loved to have met them. Part of me felt like didn't need another family member because I already had a family. My crew was already my family. Part of me felt a little envious that you had some form of mother and father figure as you grew up. I never had such things. However, it all made me stronger. It helped make me the person that I am today. And I'm not saying that I'm proud of everything that I've done, and I'm not saying that I haven't made mistakes along the way. But I think I've made mistakes with you, brother." By the way, this is the first time she's ever called you brother.
I was waiting for that.
Mistakes.
I've not care about the shipping. I've been waiting for the sibling stuff. It's so sweet.
"I don't know what's going to happen after we drop you off at Kirkwall," she says. "I don't know if everything's just going to change. I don't know if you and I were able to see each other or even know of each other once you do what you ever do. All I know is that we're running out of time, and I feel like most of it was my fault. The time that I could have spent to get to know my brother is dissipating. And I just wanted to say I'm sorry. We were given a second chance, and I think I threw it away."
Don't say that.
She starts to tear up a little bit, and she wipes her eyes.
I'll admit
She walks up to you. She puts something in your hand. It's the amulet. It's yours now. I have a feeling you're gonna need more use of that.
I probably haven't been the best brother to you either. Let alone an older one. Meant to protect and
Leildon, she says, if you were to go back, if you have the time, if you even have the desire, see if you can find me, and make sure that I don't do the same mistake that I did this time.
I would reach out and embrace her.
She'll return the hug, tightening.
I promise.
You have your brotherly, sisterly moment. And with that, you hear Vicious Fix say, Kirkwall, we're here. Well, the captain says, it's been a pleasure, brother.
Likewise. May we next meet on better circumstances.
She nods.
A happier life.
Take care.
Stay safe.
Okay.
Finally, I've been waiting for this moment. I'm glad
Loose
I finally
end.
thought of it.
And we're getting to the point where I have to tie up a whole bunch of loose ends. So check. That one's checked. So,
Beautifully done, by the way.
there's only a
Beautifully
few more loose ends
Yeah.
left before the end of this thing.
That is like a perfect mix of I wish it would sort of happen sooner, so this sucks, but at the same time, it was the only way I think it should and could have happened was how the story went and everything like that. So
I agree.
beautifully done.
Very, very nice from both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, you guys are in Kirkwall, and what do you guys do?
Probably go meet Kane and
Okay.
this ritual shindig going.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm guessing most of the NPCs that we picked up are actually not going with the captain, so Jody and Nathan will leave
Yeah.
the ship as
Yes.
well. So I still have a few more days to say goodbye to Jody. If
Yes.
That's
Oh,
close to
yes. Because assuming that Kane says yes, Gwenaël still needs to. He still needs to spend several hours preparing it, and then there's 3 days after that. So.
Yeah.